All right, so let's put it then in the perspective of the U.S. men's national team, because, of course, we got the World Cup coming up. And as I see it right now, there are 4 goalies with a shot at Qatar. And really, Kasey, if we break it down, it's kind of 2 different battles, right? There's the battle for the number 1 job, and then there's the battle for the number 3 job. Because even with 26 roster spots, I don't think we're taking 4 goalies to Qatar. So let's start with the battle for the starting job then. We'll kind of treat it as like a tail of the tape, right? If we were thinking about it from like a boxing matchup. If we focus first on Zack Steffen, where does he, in your opinion, have the edge over a guy like Matt Turner?
Well, I think there's a couple reasons why Zack probably has a little bit of an edge over Matt. He's got a longer history kind of in the national team programs. He's been at a higher level sooner than Matt has. He's also had a long history with Greg Berhalter. Now, there might be some question marks on kind of what's happened with that history in recent times, and but I think all things being equal, I think Zack probably gets the nod. Now, as we've seen over the last year or two, things have been far from equal. They've been all over the place for both these guys, and so it'll be really interesting also to see kind of what the word is out of Arsenal with how Matt's doing, kind of through preseason and then into the start of the season, as we all assume that he's going to be the number 2 there and kind of in a similar situation. Will he get a chance to play regularly, let's say in the League Cup? And can then Arsenal have a run where he gets 5-6 games, before maybe the World Cup? Look, like I said, Seb, we've talked about this a bunch, and there's no ideal situation right now, but where I think Zack Steffen can possibly take that leap forward, and that's playing 15 games in the championship before the World Cup. And I think that's the one side of Zack's game that I have a little bit of a question on, is his durability. And that's the one thing about the championship. The championship is a grind. You are playing 6 to 7 matches a month if you have a good cup run. And there's no expectation at times, particularly when you're at a place like Middlesbrough and you want to get promotion, you want to maybe get to a quarterfinal or something where you've got some good opportunities for the club to make some extra money and some big ties. I don't see them playing this guy and then playing that guy. There's an expectation that they've got this guy on loan from a club like Man City because they want him to make a difference. Now, where Zack did make a difference was when the first part of the season at Fortuna Düsseldorf, he was getting rave reviews, and then unfortunately he was injured for the majority of the second half and really didn't feature. So that's going to be my question, is the durability of Zack and how he does having to play a whole bunch of games in a short period of time.
Yeah, Kasey, to that point, I feel like if there is one area where Matt Turner has the clear edge, it's his availability, right? He seems to always pretty much be available to the national team and to Greg Berhalter. Zack Steffen hasn't always been available. Is there another area in terms of kind of goalkeeping technical ability where you see that Turner may have an edge on Steffen, or is it really just a clean sweep for Zack Steffen in your eyes?
Well, I actually think Zack's probably a little better technical shot stopper. I'm sorry, that Matt's probably a little better technical shot stopper, where Zack is such a great athlete and probably better with his feet. But then in the end, when you're going into a World Cup, you're going to need your goalkeeper to have to make saves. You're not too worried about him playing out of the back. At least that's a bonus if that happens. In the end, if he has to come up with a big save to keep you in the tournament, that's paramount. Both these guys have proven they can make saves. There's no question about that. I think probably Matt's just a little more technical. Zack maybe a little bit more athletic. And then it'll be interesting to see which one's in form. I know you and I have teased Hercules in the past that he doesn't think that it's necessarily paramount that a goalkeeper is playing week in and week out. Look, I would agree with Herc if the goalkeeper's 35 and has 400 league games or 500 league games under his belt, plus 50 to 75 caps. Then I think, yes, he can kind of build off of that, lifelong experience that they've gained. But, these are two guys that don't have those kind of numbers or anywhere near those kind of numbers. So I think it's really crucial that there is some form. Now, is that form, every other week in a cup situation? Is it week in and week out? Whatever it is, but there needs to be regular first team appearances.
Okay, so Zack Steffen versus Matt Turner is the battle for number 1. Let's focus on the battle for number 3, the third goalkeeper spot. We really don't talk about this position a whole lot, but it is an interesting one. You got Sean Johnson, of course, of New York City FC, and Ethan Horvath, who just made a loan move to Luton Town in the championship as well. I guess we'll start with Sean Johnson here. Kasey, where do you think he has the edge over Ethan Horvath in a goalie battle?
Well, I think Sean has that little bit of an edge in that he's very well familiar in the national team programs. He's been coming in for years. He's worked with the current goalkeeping coach, both for club and country. He's proven that he can be that guy without the expectation that he's going to play, that he's a good team guy, that he's going to do, whatever's needed to be a part of the national team. And he's been playing regularly for several years. Ethan, had a little bit of a spell where he came in both with Klinsmann and with Greg and proved himself. But then the problem is he gets back to his club environment and he can't play week in and week out. I'll be really, and that's not just, a year or a new manager, a new club. It's been pretty consistent now for 5-6 years. And I think that's the tricky part. Can Ethan get somewhere? And obviously he's going to have this opportunity at Luton. Can he truly establish himself, prove himself, play, every minute of every game until World Cup selection comes around? That's what I want to see. And then if he is doing that, he obviously has to be playing well, because if he's not, then he would be replaced. So yeah, it's the what with Sean Johnson to can Ethan get himself into a situation where they look at him and they say, okay, he's better.
So I keep coming back to your points about experience, right? And that's the one area where Sean Johnson has like a huge edge, not just over Horvath, over all the goalies in this pool. Everybody in this pool is 27, 28 years old. You look at the amount of first team games they've played, they're all right around 130, 140. Sean Johnson is almost at 400 games in his career, Kasey. How much does experience matter for a goalie, and specifically in this race?
Well, you have to think of that. If you get down to your third choice goalkeeper, you've had some issues. You've had some injury issues or some suspensions or something going on. So to know that you've got a guy that's kind of been through the mill a little bit. Now, obviously, what would be ideal is if Sean had 100 of those games, of those 400, in a championship, in a Bundesliga, even a Bundesliga 2 or something with just that little bit more, international experience. But that's not the case. But at least, like I said, he's got the experience around Gold Cups. He's got the experience around the national team in different environments for many, many years. And like I said, it would be, I think, maybe a first in any World Cup if the third goalkeeper had to play.
Yes. As you said, if you're playing the third goalie, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Something has gone truly off the rails.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.